Today's story is a fantastic one. Anthony Fauci, hero of the pandemic, head of the NIH, filmed in a confrontation with a skeptical and cynical family, which for his own reasons he's putting out because presumably they think it shows him in a good light. But in this exchange, you see almost everything that was wrong with the pandemic. The condemnation and criticism of people that were hesitant to take vaccines. The assumption that there is a haughty higher authority that's acting in your best interest. Presuming that people that didn't want to get vaccinated were idiots, and the idea that the government and centralized government agencies have unique access to truth and that science is a tool of truth rather than in some cases a tool of corporate interest is all exposed in this fantastic piece of footage. Also, we get the opportunity to show you how many things have traveled from conspiracy theory to conspiracy fact in the last couple of years alone. You're gonna love it.
What are we gonna do about those other states?
Oh my God. They're going to keep the outbreak smoldering in the country. It's so crazy. I mean, they're not doing it because they say they don't want to do it. They're Republicans. They don't like to be told what to do.
Right.
Do you remember all the talk of Trump and people on the right politicizing the pandemic? What's happening there? Who are you going to believe? The mainstream media or your own lying eyes?
We got to break that, unpack that.
How you guys doing with vaccine?
Also, this is a great opportunity to address other forms of bigotry and assumption about the level of education, critical thinking ability, and understanding of ordinary Americans of all races. In this clip, beautifully and conveniently, it is a family of colour that have historically had some reasons to be cynical about establishment power.
I haven't gotten it yet. I'm waiting for them to be able to.
Oh, you should get it first.
It's also convenient to humanise and recognise who the people were that were being condemned as the unvaccinated, and this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and Don Lemon saying,
I think we have to stop coddling people when it comes to this and the vaccine, saying, oh, you can't shame them. You can't call them stupid. You can't call them silly. Yes, they are. It's time to start shaming them. What else? Or leave them behind.
Remember that? This is not criticism of just Don Lemon. This is a mainstream media narrative. Fauci, the president, all them lot backed up that mentality.
Okay, that way you won't give it to them.
Oh, I thought I would give it to them if I get it.
No, not at all. In fact, we got to get you vaccinated so that if you were to get infected, you could pass it on to them.
Slightly patronising tone, such as you would expect. And now we all know because of this.
Did we know about stopping immunisation before it's entered the market? No.
That what that woman was saying is 100% correct.
So you're actually protecting your family by getting him vaccinated.
You're protecting your family. Did you not see Elmo on Sesame Street?
Well, I heard that it doesn't cure it and it doesn't stop you from getting it.
Oh, well, turns out that those are cast iron, irrefutable scientific facts, and that woman has a better understanding of the vaccines than Fauci, which is a bit worrying. I don't know, maybe that woman doesn't receive any royalties from any pharmaceutical companies. We'll have to check.
No,
So
on the very, very, very rare chance that you do get it, even if you're vaccinated, you don't even feel sick. It's like you don't even know you got infected.
We now know that natural immunity is at least as effective as having the vaccines, not to mention some of the now acknowledged side effects. Look at the way this conversation was taking place. Now, I suppose, sympathetically, you could say, well, the science changed, so the narrative changed. But we're not just talking about science here, are we? We're talking about propaganda. We're talking about condemnation and critiques. We're talking about certain narratives, for example, the Wuhan lab leak theory, being excluded from the get-go, even though it was being discussed at the highest levels of government, because it was inconvenient. We now know as a result of the Twitter files that truthful information was censored because it's inconvenient. But, hearteningly, we now know that ordinary people can stand face to face with a government official and hit him with cold, hard facts that now cannot reasonably be denied.
It's very, very good at protecting you.
100%, 90%, 80%, 70%, maybe.
The people in America are not settled with the information that's been given to us right now.
This is not the MAGA hat wearing population that they claim we are going to meet when we see these kind of videos. It's a well-informed, autodidactic, eloquent African-American family, hesitant not because of misinformation and malinformation, but because of truth and a natural, understandable and sensible cynicism about government power and corporate interests.
So I'm not going to be lining up taking a shot or a vaccination for something that wasn't clear in the first place. And then you all create a shot in miraculous time.
It's so mad, isn't it, when you look at the tone of this and presumably the point of this, who's right and who's wrong. I'm sort of astonished that it's been on the television.
We're going to let this virus continue to percolate in this country and in this world.
Something like the common flu then, right?
Like, this video is meant to be, look how Fauci and his African-American accomplice go school the naive, misinformed, ordinary Americans of all varieties and colours about the truth and the facts about the vaccine. But now he knows the complete opposite. Now this is a viral video that shows you, look at how ordinary Americans of colour school Anthony Fauci and various vested interests about the legitimate concerns about that medicine that should have been raised and discussed from the get-go. We are not a channel given to hyperbole. Yeah, right. So we will say, yeah, okay, be open-minded, do what's best for you, have a decent conversation, look at the evidence, make your own decision, all the kind of things that should have been said in the first place, but were true then, that are true now. It's called having principles. Listening to all sides of the argument, listening to dissenting voices, genuine science, including a variety of scientists, a variety of theories, and then you aggregate truth from that. You don't allow biases that might be corporate and might be regulatory to inform the entire process and then blame other people for it. Then try and make some propaganda puff piece that shows you, oh look, you know, normal people, they're ignorant. Shows you the exact opposite.
You know how many people died of the flu the last year? I mean, not this year, virtually none, but the previous year, about 20 to 30,000. You know how many people have died from COVID-19 in the United States? 600,000 Americans.
Are we allowed that conversation yet? This actually epitomizes everything that if they were right, it wouldn't. The overcounting of deaths, the rush to bring out the vaccine, the vilification of the unvaccinated, the obvious corporate interests that influence the trajectory, the negligence of the mainstream media when it comes to reporting both sides of the story, the unwillingness to have an unpatronising adult-to-adult conversation. It's all here. This is like the World Cup of what went wrong. This is an epitomising object. You can just glance at this sort of Talmud, this monolith, and see everything that went wrong in a single second.